Okay, so today's question is how to have peace with your life. So no matter the conditions of your life, whether it's good or it's bad, obviously this applies more if your life isn't the way you thought it would be, then how can you still have peace with that? Okay, so let's see what's there. Greetings and thank you for the question. How to have peace with your life. Clearly, when your life is going as you desire it, then having peace is more easily accomplished. However, what's important to be aware of is on what parameters are you deriving your peace. So if your life is going as you desire and you find a place of peace, is it a type of peace? Is it originating from a source which will continue to have a presence if your life changes and no longer is a life that you desire? If your answer is no, and you feel that if you were to lose the things that you have in your life, which you say are the reasons for your peace, then it is still dichotomous. It is still peace from the perspective of duality. When things are good, I am peaceful. When things are bad, I lose my peace. So, we start in this way because we don't want those who are in a place of peace already to miss out on the understanding that we are going to share in this session. Because true peace cannot be perturbed. It is entirely detached and unassociated with the conditions of your life. And this is the only true peace, the only lasting peace. It is the only peace which is a derivation of an understanding of self which is in alignment with your purpose, with the divine purpose, which is to know thyself. When you know thyself to the depth where peace is found, then you are inoculated from losing your peace when your life no longer is the life that you desire. This is the state which you are here to understand, to achieve. And it is the state that all of existence seeks to know. Not because it is the place of peace, but because it is the place of self-knowing. And if you are living a life which is not a life that you desire, then for you also, peace is just as available. And the only barrier between you and the peace that you seek is not the circumstances of your life, but it is the conditions of your identity. It is who you are believing yourself to be. It is a misconceptualization of the true essence of you, believing that you are a being which can lose its peace, can be detached from peace. But this is impossible. Peace is a constituent from which you are constructed. You literally are peace, because you are an individuation of the One. And the One, in the lexicon of human emotion, is love and its derivatives. This is literally the substance from which you have been created. Love and its derivatives. And those derivatives include peace, gratitude, peace, happiness, joy, bliss, love. This is the rainbow of love. This is the stairway to love. It is the substance from which you are forged. So, peace is not something which is found. Peace is not something which needs to be sought. Peace is realization of self. It is remembering, recognition of what you are. And so if you have a peace which is based on the conditions of your life, then you are finding peace not in recognition of true essence, but instead you are giving yourself permission to experience peace because the strict conditions of the identity you believe yourself to are for peace have been met. This is still a belief in duality. This is still a belief that you are not peaceful because it is you, but you are peaceful because the conditions in which the apparatus finds itself, the avatar, the temporary identity you are in this lifetime, those conditions for peace have been met, and therefore peace can be present. However, the flip side of this misconceptualization, this false understanding, is that if those conditions were to leave and change, then peace would be lost. This is peace with condition. I am peaceful when these conditions are met. Whereas true peace, peace which derives from a place which is never changing, which is eternal, invulnerable, peace that derives from an understanding of your immortal nature, that you have no beginning and you have no end. And the substance from which you are forged will always be the substance from which you are forged, regardless. Then this is conditionless peace. This is a peace that does not require reason. It is the peace which cannot be perturbed, because it is not a possession. It is not something that you hold. It is something that you are. You are peace. Just as you are love. You are gratitude. You are happiness, joy, bliss, love. You are these things. They are not attained. They are realized within self. And this is why the journey of discovery of self is central to your existence. Because the one, as its single purpose, is to know itself, is to experience itself, is to discover that it is these things in the paradigm of experience. And so it is discovering itself, it is learning this about itself, it is remembering, realizing through all of consciousness, which is itself, individuated to infinitum, through illusion, for the purpose that the one can transition from knowing itself conceptually only to knowing itself experientially. And this is occurring through all consciousness, including through the unique perspective which is you. So, how does one realize they are these things? How does one discover they are peace? Especially within the conditions of living a life which isn't desired. This journey of discovery is a journey away from identification with the apparatus, the mind, the body, the personality. They are but a collection of assets which you have manifested for the purpose of integrating into the physical experience, so you can continue to unfold in your realization that you are the one. Which means to discover that you are gratitude, peace, happiness, joy, bliss, love. These are the intangible qualities of self. These are the dimensions of self which cannot be seen in the mirror, which cannot be weighed and measured. These are your extra dimensionality, the non-physical aspects of self. And these non-physical aspects of self are not discovered through the personality, through the mind, or through the body, because they are separate from the apparatus. Because the apparatus is temporary, is illusory. It is the assets that you have manifested for yourself at the beginning of this life and shall no longer exist once this life has concluded. So the discovery of self is not found in the apparatus. It is not in the mind, it is not in the personality, it is not in the body. So to discover your peace, to realize that you are peace, it is an investigation of all aspects of self which are not the apparatus. This is the challenge of the human experience. Because in the earth human state of limited wakefulness, still in the transition through the 3D, there is very strong evidence that you are the apparatus, that you are the mind, the body, the personality. And so the focus is invariably, primarily, on the apparatus. And this is a fundamental shift in self-knowing which needs to occur as you transition into a more fifth dimensional being, where the tangibility of who you are is more and more recognition, realization of the intangible aspects of self. So as a practice, to discover your peace, to realize your peace, is best achieved by putting yourself into a state where the mind, the body, the personality are as silenced as can be possible, are as less present as you are capable of doing. And clearly, these conditions that we describe could be said to also be a description of meditation, where the body is still, the mind is allowed to quieten gradually as you sink further into the meditative state until it becomes silent. And in its silence, the personality is absent. And you are reduced to a presence. And this presence is the true essence of who you are. It is the peace. It is love and all of its derivatives. This is how simple the journey can be. To sit still, quiet, until you transition the focus of your consciousness into the awareness. And that awareness, as an analogy, is the presence behind the VR goggles when in a virtual reality. You are not the avatar when you play an immersive 3D game experience. Although when in that universe it appears to be real, the avatar responds in the ways that you do, but ultimately the avatar is not you. You are the presence behind the VR goggles. And in a similar way, you are not this avatar, this apparatus, the mind, the body, the personality. You are the presence that operates the apparatus. And for this awareness to be felt, the apparatus and all of its facets must be silenced and stilled as much as is possible. And then in this meditative state, have a growing familiarity with the presence that you are, with the higher self essence, and feel that it is love. It is gratitude, peace, happiness, joy, bliss, love. Realize that you are these things. And then when you emerge from your meditation, you will be shifted. You will vibratorily be more of the presence and less of the apparatus in your identity. And also, what occurs in this exercise of meditation is that your center can shift. Because when you believe yourself to be the apparatus, when you are very constricted into an identity with the apparatus, and the apparatus is living a life which is not of its desire, then your center is locked into this state, which is hyper-awareness of living a life which isn't desired. Because the apparatus is living that life. And your limited conceptualization of self has locked your center in the apparatus, in that experience, in that scenario, which have conditions preventing the experience of peace. Yet when you are in the meditative state, and particularly if you are doing this habitually, it is something that you do over and over and over and over and over, then this increasing awareness of the presence that are behind the VR goggles, that operates the avatar, it is also a realization of your infinity. You are love and its derivatives. And these are infinite qualities. You have no outer border. You are an infinitely expanding being. There is no start. There is no end. You are everywhere, forever. And a being that is infinite, a being that is borderless, it has no geographical center. Because everywhere within infinity is equidistant. There is no geographical center. Everywhere is the center. Everywhere is not the center. So, for the center to be locked in one location is a very limited understanding of self. It is believing that you have borders, that you have perimeters. And your center is locked within that. And so when this avatar lives a life which is not that which it desires, then the individual that identifies strongly as the avatar, as the apparatus, will find that their center is locked. They are a prisoner from which they cannot escape. Until the conditions change, their state cannot change. Because their center must be the center of the limited being they believe themselves to be. This is misunderstanding of self. It is a misconceptualization. It is an absence of awareness that you are the infinite presence. And in its place is the belief that you are the vulnerable, finite, mortal being trapped in the circumstances of life. Yet, when you are a regular visitor to this internal state through meditation, where the apparatus is silenced, the avatar is put to rest, and you become aware of the presence you are, and you begin to explore the expansiveness of your infinity. You contemplate your infinity. Then you extend far beyond the borders of the apparatus. And as such, you can shift your center. Because ultimately, you are the infinite being. And the center is not predetermined geographically, but is chosen by you. Your center is where you choose it to be. So, in your understanding that you are love and its derivatives, place your center there. Be love and its derivatives. Be gratitude, peace, happiness, joy, bliss, love. This is a realized state. This is a state which cannot be perturbed. Because you have literally moved your center outside of the apparatus. And now, what occurs in the apparatus, what occurs in the life of the apparatus, is irrelevant to the place where you have your center. And so now, you have separation. Now you can be the presence, looking back at the life as the observer, watching the avatar. And this is a profound shift towards enlightenment, towards knowing thyself. Because you are not the avatar, the temporary apparatus. You are the higher self. You are the immortal being, invulnerable, infinite, having the temporary physical experience. And yet when we are born on earth into this physical experience, there is the loss of remembrance, born into the belief that you are the apparatus. And this is the journey. This is a deliberate design. Because your journey across 3D, particularly now in the human experience, as there is increasing transition into the 5D, this is part of the design to facilitate the realization of self. Because for consciousness to have the experience of forgetting its true nature and then rediscovering the beauty and glory of its true nature through the process of incarnation into life cycles, is a very highly desired experience. Because it is a blessing to discover that you are love and its derivatives, that you are infinite, invulnerable, immortal, as opposed to being in a state of always knowing. It is a gift. So, our recommendation to you, if you do not already, is to meditate regularly, so that you can discover that you are the things already which you seek. The human condition is a pursuit of that which you already are. Humans want to be more successful, more wealthy, better relationships. Yet why do they seek these things universally across the entire globe? Because ultimately, They wish to experience love, to experience happiness and joy, to have peace, to be grateful. Can you see? These are the literal constituents from which you have been created, because you are an individuation of the One. And the One is love and its derivatives. You literally are these things. And so your and all of humanity's insatiable appetite for finding love, finding happiness, finding joy, finding peace, finding gratitude is in fact an insatiable thirst to know thyself, and by proxy to know the One, because you are the One, and the One's purpose is to know itself through experience, which means through the many illusory individuations of itself experiencing God within itself. So when you experience love, love that is not in duality, that is not dichotomous, but love that is conditionless, happiness that is conditionless, peace that is conditionless, regardless of the circumstances of your life, this is a discovery of your true nature. It is a discovery of the God within. And it is an experience of the One, of God. And as such, it is the One, it is God experiencing itself through the perspective which is you. So, if your life is lacking in these qualities, love and its derivatives, then understand, if you focus on fulfilling this appetite with externalities, then it is a very fragile state that you will create. While you may create the conditions through effort that give you permission to experience the joy, the peace, the love, it can be taken away if those conditions change, if those conditions leave your life. So, go deeper. Find the place of conditionless love and its derivatives, where you can be centered in those regardless of what occurs in the life that the avatar is living. So discover those dimensions of self which are not defined by the apparatus, which are not the mind, the personality, or the body. And your fastest pathway to this discovery is through meditation. So we wish you great peace, great happiness, great love. We see that you are these things, and we watch on in admiration as all of you more and more discover that you are more than what you have believed yourself to be. And this discovery is a realization that you are God-like beings of infinite capacity, deserving of self-love that on your planet until now has been a rare expression of humanity. We see it, and we love you for it, and continue to support and await your arrival as our awakened brothers and sisters. We love you. Thank you.